Alright, think I've got everything ready. Hey y'all, been a minute since I did a how to art episode. Don't mind my cat, you might hear her in the background. She's a little insane. She's friends with all the neighbor cats. Anyway, today we shall discuss how to draw features on a spherical object. This skill can require a lot of mental visualizations. If you struggle with that, I've left a PDF download in the description of a sphere with guidelines on it, which I will also be using for this demonstration. First, after you have your sphere, you will need to determine where your face will be facing. I'll do a roughly 40 degrees and up, since it covers all the struggles most people have with a sphere head. Rough out the guidelines you'll be following, so you don't get lost and accidentally use the wrong ones if you're using the sphere. Next, you'll need to find your nose. I will be using a triangle, but a simple line or other shape will work as well. Find your main guideline in the middle and mark the nose just beyond that point, like so. This will give you depth in your final art piece. Next, you'll need to find the top of your eyes. Depending on where you put the line will determine how scrunched the eyes are or how wide the eyes are. Next, draw the guidelines for the outside edge and inside edge of the hole. 4 squares is plenty for eye width. Next, draw ovals for the eye holes, making sure all 4 sides of the square are touching 4 sides of the oval. Don't let the oval touch the corner of the square. It'll mess up any depth in the drawing. For today, we will do a really simple mouth, because that's the whole thing and I don't really feel like explaining. This video is already too long. For a simple mouth, draw a line of your choosing from between the middle of both eyes to the side of the nose. Simple mouths are kind of a playground for expression, so mess around with it for a while. To open the mouth, draw a curved teacup handle from one lip to the other lip. You can also pinch them together to get a more cheeky smile. To draw the eyes, draw 2 ovals in the center of the eye, then move them in slightly. These are the irises of the eye. Then draw another oval in the center of the irises and push them in slightly as well. This creates a nice layered feel in the eyes. Now it's time for the cheeks. Not those kinds of cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. The cheeks should wrap around the face, from the bottom of the eye to the bottom of the head. You can think of it as a spiral staircase. Don't make it too big or it won't fit on the rest of the face. Unless you're going for like really chubby, squishy, floppy, but even then, like that's too much squish. Next, if you put your eye on the edge of the sphere and you feel like it doesn't have any room for line art, you can just add a slight bump to the edge of the face. It wraps around the face like a small slug. Only make it big enough to encompass the eye. Now go over everything with line art. If you are on Ibis Paint X, I use the fashionable brush. Now change the hue of the line work to something that matches your colors, so it's not as noticeable and weird. Now add your colors and patterns to the face following the guidelines to help determine the position. Now put a small highlight at the bottom of the iris and a darker one at the top. Finish it off with a white highlight. Now we determine our light source. I'll do bottom left because I want to show the light wraps around the brow and cheek differently than the rest of the head. Once you've found your shadow, mark it out with black, select its opacity, go back to your color, duplicate the layer, and change the copy's hue between -10 and -30 depending on how intense the light is. More intense light will be closer to -10, while less intense light will be closer to -30. You can also go back in with white and adjust the hue between +10 and +30 to do the highlight. And I did it! I talked for way too long, and my cat won't shut up. I'ma go make some tea. Bye all, till next time I suppose. I'm out.